Relationships often feel like a battlefield, especially when everything falls apart. Maybe they've pulled away, or perhaps they've walked out of your life completely, leaving you spinning in an endless loop of questions. What went wrong? How do you fix it? The temptation to reach out, to convince them to come back, is strong. But let's be honest, chasing after them only pushes them further away. That's the brutal truth. Here's something you need to understand. People rarely value what they don't fear losing. It's only when your presence is no longer guaranteed that they start to feel the weight of your absence. But this isn't just about disappearing physically. It's about creating an emotional void that forces them to confront the reality of your absence, the kind of void that whispers to them in the silence and keeps them up at night. Think about this. Have you ever realized the value of water only when you were parched, desperate for a single drop? That's the feeling you need to invoke, not through games or manipulation, but by reclaiming your own power and becoming someone whose absence speaks louder than any words. Stoicism teaches us that the greatest strength lies in restraint and self-discipline. When you resist the urge to plead or chase, you're not just holding on to your dignity, you're rewriting the entire dynamic. You're no longer the person begging to be seen. You're the person whose worth is undeniable. And in that shift, they start to wonder, what did I lose? Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them." When they left, it wasn't the event itself that caused your pain. It was how you perceived it. You saw it as rejection, as failure. But what if instead you saw it as a turning point, a chance to rebuild yourself into someone stronger, someone who doesn't need to beg for anyone's presence? Imagine you're a tree in the middle of a storm. The winds are howling, trying to uproot you, but you stay grounded. You don't chase the wind, you let it pass. In the same way, you don't chase someone who's walked away. You focus on your own roots, your growth, your stability, your strength. And when the storm clears, they'll see you standing tall, unshaken, and wonder how they ever thought they could live without you. This isn't about vengeance or playing the victim. It's about understanding that the most powerful thing you can do is step back and let them feel the weight of what they've lost. Because when someone truly values you, they won't let you slip away easily. And if they do, your silence will speak volumes. It's not about giving them the cold shoulder. It's about giving yourself the warmth of self-respect. You're not ignoring them, you're prioritizing you. You're showing them that your world doesn't revolve around their presence, and that's when the tables start to turn. When they realize you're not chasing, you're not pleading, you're not broken, they'll feel the emptiness of your absence like a shadow that follows them everywhere. So, let them go. Let them feel it. Don't fill the silence with desperate words. Fill it with your strength, your growth, your transformation. In the end, it's not about making them come back. It's about becoming someone they can't afford to lose again. That's the power of Stoicism. That's the power of your absence. Now, here's where it gets real. If you're ready to truly embrace this power, stay until the end, because we're going to uncover the most valuable thing you gain when they realize your worth. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. It's the kind of realization that can change your life. And before we dive deeper, take a moment to subscribe to this channel, like the video, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another life-changing insight. Let me know in the comments, what do you think is the most powerful way to make someone truly feel the pain of losing you? Let's discuss it below. I'm reading every comment. Now, let's keep going. The best is yet to come. Number 1. Let them fly, watch them return. If you want them back, the first move is letting go. It sounds strange, doesn't it? Like the last thing you should do. But here's the truth. Clinging too tightly only pushes them further away. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're strong enough to stop forcing things. It's about releasing the urge to control the situation, the constant overthinking, and the desperate attempts to convince them. Picture this. You're holding a bird in your hand. If you grip too tightly, you'll crush it, and it will never want to stay. But if you open your hand, give it space, and let it breathe, the bird may choose to stay near you, or even come back. People aren't much different. Desperation pushes them away, while calm, confident detachment draws them closer. Stoicism teaches us that the only things we truly control are our own actions, our responses, and our mindset. Their feelings, their choices, their path. Those are beyond your control. It's like trying to hold on to water in your fist. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. What you can control is what you do with your time, your energy, and your emotions. Instead of pouring all your focus into them, shift that energy back to yourself. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you truly prioritized you? Maybe you've spent days overthinking their every word, replaying conversations, or waiting for them to respond. But what if you took all that energy and used it to rebuild yourself? Imagine stepping back, hitting the gym, reconnecting with old friends, or diving into something you've always been passionate about but kept putting off. Think of yourself as a garden. If you've been so focused on someone else's yard, your own flowers might be withering. Letting go is about watering your garden again, nurturing what makes you, you. It's not just about distracting yourself. It's about rediscovering the version of you that was thriving before they even entered your life. Here's where it gets powerful. When you let go, you send a message, not through words, but through your actions. That message says, I value myself. I'm strong. I'm not chasing anyone because I know my worth. People are naturally drawn to confidence and independence. When they see you stepping back, focusing on yourself, they start to feel the void. They'll begin to wonder, why aren't you chasing anymore? What are you up to? This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about embracing your own strength and self-worth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength is magnetic. Letting go doesn't mean giving up hope. It means releasing the need for instant results. It's the ability to say, I'm okay whether they come back or not, because I'm focused on building a life that doesn't depend on someone else. And here's the magic. When you do this, they'll notice. Your absence will speak louder than words ever could. They'll remember the qualities that first drew them in. They might even question their decision to walk away. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about creating space for them to realize what they're missing. If they come back, it won't be because you begged. It'll be because they see your value, your growth, and your independence. And if they don't, you've still won. You've built a stronger, better version of yourself. So, let them go. Let them feel the space you leave behind. Like the bird that's free to fly, they'll return if they truly see your worth. And if they don't, you'll realize you never needed anyone to complete you in the first place. That's the ultimate power. You, fully in control of your own life, becoming someone they'll never forget. Number 2, be the mystery they can't ignore. Predictability is the silent killer of attraction. Think about what keeps you hooked on a book you can't put down, or a movie that has you sitting on the edge of your seat. It's the mystery, the thrill of not knowing what's coming next. If everything is laid out plainly, with no twists or intrigue, the excitement vanishes. Relationships are no different. When you become predictable, you eliminate curiosity, And curiosity is the spark that keeps people drawn to you. Imagine this. You always text them at the same time, morning and night, like clockwork. At first, it might feel sweet or considerate, but over time, it becomes routine. There's no suspense, no space for their imagination to wander. Now, imagine skipping that text for a day or two. Suddenly, their mind starts asking questions. Why haven't you messaged? What are you doing? That silence creates anticipation, and in those moments, they're thinking about you more than ever. Let's take it further. Do you share every detail of your day on social media? Every meal, every thought, every minor update? If so, you're leaving no room for curiosity. Instead, post sparingly and intentionally. Share glimpses that tell a story, a snapshot of a hike, a thought-provoking quote from a book you're reading, or a photo of something new you're learning. These moments don't just spark curiosity, they also show that you're growing, evolving, and living a full life. They'll wonder, what's inspiring this change? What else are they doing? Here's where it gets deeper. When you shift your focus to becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally create a magnetic pull. There's no need for games or tricks because your authenticity and growth speak louder than anything else. Imagine you've started learning martial arts or picked up painting. You don't need to announce it to the world every day, but when they catch a glimpse of this new passion, it makes them pause. They'll ask themselves, what's driving this change? Why do they seem so grounded, so focused? That's the kind of intrigue that keeps people hooked. Think of a candle in a dark room. Its flicker draws the eye, not because it's shouting for attention, but because it's quietly holding its ground, glowing steadily. That's the kind of presence you want to cultivate. Not loud or desperate, but calm, steady, and undeniably captivating. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Be content with what you are, and wish not for what you are not." When you stop trying to be someone else or endlessly chasing others, you naturally become someone worth chasing. By focusing on your own journey, you radiate a quiet confidence that people find irresistible. Here's the truth. When they start wondering why you're not texting, what new things you're pursuing, or why you seem so centered, they're already re-engaging with you in their mind. That gap you've created, that unpredictability you've introduced, it pulls them in. Curiosity is a powerful force, and when you live authentically, it works in your favor. But this isn't just about relationships. Reflect for a moment. Think about the people or moments that have captivated you. Wasn't it the air of mystery, the feeling that there was more beneath the surface? Now ask yourself, how can you embody that? How can you create a life so rich and full of purpose that others can't help but be drawn to it? The strongest attraction doesn't come from constant presence or predictable habits. It comes from being a mystery, a confident, grounded person living a life so fulfilling that they'll feel lucky to be part of it. That's how you keep them guessing, and that's how you keep them captivated. Number 3, build yourself, not the bridge. Back to them. The real transformation doesn't begin with winning them back. It starts with rediscovering and redefining yourself. When someone pulls away, the natural reaction is to chase, to fix, to analyze every moment and search for validation. But here's the hard truth. Chasing only magnifies the imbalance, making you look dependent while they feel more distant. Instead, what if you flipped the script? What if you took this time as an opportunity to focus on becoming the best version of yourself? Not for their approval, but for your own fulfillment. This is where your true power lies. Think about it. You've been given space, not an empty void, but a blank canvas. You can use it to grow stronger, smarter, and more fulfilled. Start hitting the gym, not just to build physical strength, but to develop discipline and confidence. Dive into a skill you've always wanted to master, or reignite a passion project that once lit you up inside. Maybe it's advancing in your career, learning a language, or traveling to broaden your perspective. Every small victory becomes a reminder that you are capable of living a full, meaningful life without relying on someone else to define your worth. Imagine two people experiencing the same loss. One spends their time endlessly scrolling through social media, overanalyzing every detail, and sinking deeper into self-doubt. The other uses that time to work on themselves. They reconnect with old friends, find joy in hobbies, and become intentional with their time. Who do you think will emerge stronger, more magnetic, more fulfilled? The answer is clear. Here's the fascinating thing. When you begin thriving without them, it shifts the entire dynamic. Suddenly, you're not waiting. You're living. You're physically healthier, mentally sharper, emotionally stronger. That kind of energy, it's irresistible. People are naturally drawn to confidence and purpose, and when you embody those traits, you create an aura of independence that speaks louder than words. But here's where it gets even better. By the time they notice your transformation, you might realize something far more important. You don't need their attention to feel whole. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This strength isn't about revenge or proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you already have everything you need to thrive. Think of yourself as a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It stands tall, radiating light, guiding those who are meant to find it. That's the energy you cultivate when you focus on yourself. You're not seeking validation. You're living with purpose, and that quiet confidence draws people in naturally. What does focusing on yourself look like? It's setting goals and taking small, consistent steps to achieve them. It's surrounding yourself with people who inspire and uplift you. It's learning to enjoy your own company and finding peace in solitude. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need external validation because they know their worth inherently. As Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Envision the version of yourself you aspire to become and take intentional steps toward that vision. This isn't an overnight transformation, it's a journey. But with every step forward, you're not just proving your strength to yourself, you're also changing the way others perceive you. This journey isn't easy, but it's worth every ounce of effort. Because when you focus on building yourself, instead of trying to rebuild the bridge to them, you create a life that no one else can define or take away. And that's where true freedom begins. Number 4, the echo of silence. In relationships, silence can be your greatest ally, not as a weapon, but as a way to let the absence of words say what your presence cannot. It's not about withholding affection or playing mind games. It's about creating space, a reflective pause that allows both of you to understand the value of what's been lost and what still lingers. When you choose silence, you're not walking away or punishing them. Instead, you're giving them the opportunity to feel the weight of your absence. That quiet void isn't just empty air. It's a reminder of the energy, love, and effort you once brought to the connection. As the days pass, what seemed insignificant becomes impossible to ignore. Absence is often the loudest proof of value. Stoicism teaches us that the power of silence lies in its restraint. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By choosing silence, you're not reacting impulsively, you're demonstrating control over your emotions. It's not just a lack of communication, it's a deliberate act of self-respect. Picture this: you've always been the one who reaches out first, keeping the connection alive while they remain passive. But now, you step back. At first, they may not notice, but soon, the absence of your presence becomes a question they can't avoid. Why don't I hear from them anymore? What changed? That quiet space you've created isn't about punishment. It's an invitation for them to reflect on what they had and what they may now be losing. Silence works because it shifts the dynamic. When you stop chasing, you're no longer the person begging for attention. Instead, you're the one who commands it by stepping away. You're saying, I respect myself enough not to force what isn't freely given. My energy is valuable, and I won't waste it proving my worth to someone who can't see it. Think of a still lake. When disturbed, it ripples endlessly, losing its calm. But left undisturbed, it reflects the sky, the trees, and everything around it with clarity. Your silence is that calm lake. It allows you to regain clarity about yourself while showing them the depth of what they took for granted. Questions may arise. Is this silence closing the door forever? Am I pushing them away completely? The answer is no. Silence doesn't lock doors, it leaves them ajar. You're not shutting them out. You're showing them that your world doesn't revolve around their presence. You're living, growing, and focusing on your own journey. And in that process, you communicate strength and independence. Here's the beauty of this approach. When they finally reach out, and they will, it won't be out of pity or guilt. It will be because your absence spoke louder than words ever could. Maybe it's a simple message asking why you've been quiet, or maybe they'll want to reconnect entirely. Whatever the case, your silence has already done the heavy lifting. By then, you'll realize something important. You were never waiting. You were leading. You weren't sitting in desperation. You were standing in strength. And whether or not they return, you'll find yourself steady, composed, and in control of your own life. That's the kind of confidence no one can ignore. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Silence is that strength. It's a choice to let your absence echo your value. It's not weakness or surrender. It's the ultimate expression of power over yourself. Let silence speak for you. Let it carry the message of your self-respect, your independence, and your ability to thrive with or without them. In the end, they'll hear what words could never convey. You're unshakable, you're enough, and you're free. Number 5. Reignite your fire. How often do we lose ourselves when we pour everything into someone else? It's easy to forget the things that once brought us joy, the passions that used to define us, when a relationship consumes all our energy. But here you are, standing at a crossroads, with the perfect opportunity to turn inward and rediscover the spark that made you, you. Let me ask you this: what used to make you feel truly alive? Was it a career you were chasing, a fitness routine that made you feel unstoppable, or a creative outlet that let you express your soul? Maybe it's something you've buried under years of neglect, a guitar collecting dust, a book idea you abandoned, or a dream you told yourself wasn't worth the risk. Whatever it was, this is the time to bring it back to life. Think about someone like Alex. He spent years pushing aside his passion for photography to focus entirely on a relationship. After it ended, he felt lost, unsure of who he was without it. One day, on a whim, he picked up his camera again. At first it was just to fill the emptiness, but soon it became his escape, his passion, his purpose. He started sharing his work, built a following, and even turned his hobby into a career. In rediscovering what drove him, Alex didn't just find a distraction, he found himself again. You have that same chance right now. Reconnecting with what makes you passionate isn't about filling the void they left behind. It's about rebuilding a foundation for yourself, one that no relationship, no loss, and no setback can ever shake. This is your blank canvas, and your masterpiece is waiting to be created. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the ability to live as you wish." What does freedom look like for you? Is it chasing a career you've been too afraid to pursue? Is it creating something that matters deeply to you? Or is it simply building a life on your own terms, without compromise? Whatever it means, now is the time to claim it. When you focus on the things that make you come alive, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts. Your confidence returns. You stop merely surviving and start thriving. And here's the truth. People are drawn to that energy. They notice when you're no longer weighed down, when you're living with purpose. Even the person you once poured so much into will take note. But this isn't about them. It never was. Imagine yourself 6 months from now, standing taller, stronger, and more fulfilled because you chose to prioritize your growth. You've picked up the guitar again, or started the fitness class you've been putting off, or committed to the side project you've been dreaming about for years. Each small step you take brings you closer to becoming someone whose happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. The beauty of this transformation is that it's entirely for you. You're not doing it to prove a point or to win anyone back. You're doing it because you deserve a life that feels rich and meaningful on your own terms. And as you thrive, you'll discover that the person you're becoming is someone you're proud to be. Ask yourself, what have you been neglecting that used to light you up inside? What's one small action you can take today to move closer to the life you want? Maybe it's dusting off an old hobby, signing up for that course, or setting a goal you've been too scared to chase. Whatever it is, take the first step. This isn't just about rebuilding, it's about redefining who you are and what you're capable of. When you reignite the fire inside you, the transformation will be undeniable, not just for you, but for everyone who sees the person you've become. So, go ahead, reignite your fire. Your best self is waiting. Number 6. The strength in stepping back. It's natural to feel the pull to reach out, especially when emotions are high. Maybe you're afraid of losing them, or feel the need to explain yourself, seek closure, or simply hear their voice. But sometimes the most powerful action isn't action at all. It's stepping back and respecting their space. By giving them room, you're not just honoring their independence, you're reinforcing your own. It's a silent declaration of maturity and confidence, showing that your connection doesn't hinge on constant communication. True connections are built on trust, not pressure. By allowing them the freedom to process their feelings without interference, you create a space where real emotions can arise naturally, unforced. Think of it like a garden. If you water it obsessively, afraid it might wither, you end up drowning the roots. The plants don't thrive under the weight of your constant care. They suffocate. But if you water it with thoughtfulness and patience, giving it time to breathe, it grows strong and resilient. Relationships work the same way. Over-communication, like overwatering, can feel overwhelming. What begins as care often becomes suffocation. draining the connection instead of nurturing it. The Stoics understood this principle well. They were masters of patience and self-control, knowing when to act and when to wait. Seneca once said, "Time discovers truth." Time isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally. When you take a step back and allow space, you're giving time the chance to create clarity, something that endless texts or calls will never achieve. Ask yourself this: what are you really afraid of when you feel the urge to reach out? Are you scared they'll forget you? That the silence will grow too loud? The truth is, by stepping back, you're sending a powerful message. You're saying, "I trust you to handle your feelings, and I trust myself to handle the outcome." That kind of confidence is magnetic. Silence isn't a weapon, it's a sign of strength. It's the calm in the storm, the quiet assurance that you don't need to cling to keep someone close. Imagine this: they're used to your constant presence, your texts, your calls, but suddenly you step back. At first, they might not notice, but as the silence stretches, it creates a void that only your presence once filled. That absence speaks volumes, reminding them of your value in a way that words never could. But what about you? Stepping back isn't just for them, it's for you too. It's a chance to reflect, to regain your footing, and to remember your worth outside of the relationship. The act of respecting their space is also about respecting your own. By doing so, you remind yourself that your peace of mind and emotional strength come first. This isn't about manipulating emotions or playing games. It's about giving both of you the freedom to breathe. And even if things don't unfold the way you hoped, you'll walk away, knowing you handled it with dignity and self-respect. Picture this moment. The silence stretches between you like a bridge. On one side, they're reflecting on what your presence meant to their life. On the other, you're growing stronger, steadier, more in control of your emotions. That bridge isn't broken, it's just waiting for someone willing to cross it. So the next time you feel the pull to break the silence, pause, breathe, trust the process. By stepping back, you're not losing anything. You're creating space for something real to grow. Whether they come back or not, you'll have proven to yourself that you're capable of standing strong, unshaken by the storm. And that is where true power lies. Number 7. Let time do the heavy lifting. Patience is powerful, but let's be honest, it's one of the hardest things to practice, especially when emotions are pulling you in every direction. When someone you care about pulls away or makes a decision that shakes your world, the immediate instinct is to act, to fix, to do something. But here's the truth. Real, meaningful change is never instant. It's a process, not a quick fix. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said it best. Good things take time. Haste leads to regret. Think about the weight of those words. Every time you rush into action, whether it's sending a desperate text or making a grand gesture, you risk creating chaos instead of clarity. If you've ever regretted a text sent in the heat of the moment, you've already felt the truth of Seneca's wisdom. Now, imagine this. You've had a falling out, or they've asked for space. The urge to bridge that gap is overwhelming. You want to explain, apologize, or show them how much you care. But take a moment and ask yourself, is this about genuinely fixing the relationship, or is it about easing your own discomfort? Instead of rushing into their life, step back. Let the dust settle. Focus on what you can control, your own growth. Use this time to strengthen yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally, not for their approval, but for your own self-respect. Picture a garden. You plant a seed, water it, give it sunlight, and then you wait. If you dig it up every day to check if it's growing, you'll kill it before it even has a chance to thrive. Relationships are no different. They need the right environment and, above all, time to grow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." That's the rhythm of life. When you try to rush the outcome, you're not just working against them, you're working against the flow of nature itself. Let's address the questions that might be creeping into your mind right now. But what if they forget me? What if this space pushes them further away? The answer lies in trust, not just in them, but in yourself. Trust that by giving time its due, you're creating the space for clarity to emerge. Whether they return or not, this time will be transformative for you. Imagine yourself in the months ahead. You've resisted the urge to act impulsively. You've focused on building a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. When they're ready to revisit the connection, they'll find someone who is wiser, more at peace, and more confident. And if they don't return, you'll still have won because you'll have become someone you're proud of. Think of patience not as passivity, but as quiet strength. It's the calm assurance that keeps you moving forward without forcing an outcome. It's knowing that life has its own rhythm, and by aligning yourself with it, you free yourself from unnecessary worry. In the end, time has a way of revealing truths we can't force into existence. It clears away doubt, mends wounds, and shows us what truly matters. So let time do the heavy lifting. Step back, focus on your growth, and trust the process. Whether the outcome is what you hope for or something unexpected, you'll emerge stronger and more grounded. And that kind of transformation is never wasted. Number 8. Be the calm, not the chaos. Confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities anyone can have. But true confidence isn't loud or flashy. It doesn't demand attention. It's quiet, unshakable, and rooted in a deep understanding of your worth. It doesn't come from needing constant validation from others. It comes from trusting yourself and knowing you're enough, regardless of what others think or do. Picture this. You meet someone new, and instead of trying too hard to impress them, you focus on simply being present. You listen, you engage, and you enjoy the moment. That kind of grounded energy is powerful because it says, "I'm comfortable in my own skin." Contrast that with someone who constantly seeks reassurance, who needs to be told they're enough at every turn. That neediness communicates insecurity, and insecurity pushes people away. So, how do you cultivate that quiet, magnetic confidence? It starts with the fundamentals. Take care of your body through exercise, not just for physical strength, but for the discipline and sense of achievement it brings. Strengthen your mind with practices like meditation, which help you observe your emotions without being ruled by them. And most importantly, set goals and accomplish them, no matter how small they seem. Every goal you achieve builds a stronger belief in your own resilience. Imagine the ocean. On a calm day, its stillness and depth draw people in. It's serene, beautiful, and steady. Now picture the same ocean during a storm, chaotic and unpredictable. That energy drives people away. Be the calm ocean. Let your steadiness and composure speak for itself. Here's a common scenario. You send a message and they don't reply right away. What do? If you're ruled by neediness, anxiety creeps in. Why haven't they answered? Did I say something wrong? Maybe you're tempted to send another message or spiral into self-doubt. But confidence allows you to step back. It reminds you, I'm in control of my thoughts and actions, not theirs. Instead of reacting impulsively, you redirect your energy. Maybe you hit the gym, work on a project, or spend time with friends. By showing yourself that you're centered and focused, you naturally project the kind of confidence that draws others in. True confidence isn't about always getting it right. It's about staying grounded when things don't go as planned. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the essence of confidence. It's the ability to remain steady even when life throws storms your way. But what if you're not there yet? What if you feel stuck in that cycle of self-doubt and overthinking? Start small. Pick one thing you can control, a habit, a goal, a routine, and stick to it. Whether it's a fitness plan, learning a new skill, or finishing a long-neglected project, every step you take toward progress strengthens your belief in yourself. Over time, that belief turns into unshakable confidence. Confidence isn't about never feeling doubt or insecurity. It's about what you do in those moments. It's choosing to stand firm when fear creeps in. It's knowing that your worth isn't tied to someone else's validation. And when you embrace that truth, you become the calm sea, the one people are naturally drawn to, not because you're trying to prove something, but because your steady presence is undeniable. So, let your actions speak louder than your words. Be the calm, not the chaos. The rest will follow. Number 9. Stay in their thoughts without saying a word. When it comes to leaving a lasting impression, subtlety is your greatest weapon. You don't need grand gestures or complete silence to stay on someone's mind. Instead, the key lies in showing the world, and them, who you're becoming through small, intentional actions. These quiet shifts speak louder than anything you could say. Consider how you present yourself to the world, whether in person or online. What you share should be purposeful, not performative. Imagine posting about hitting the gym, not with a mirror selfie, but with something that reflects discipline, like completing a marathon, reaching a milestone, or simply embracing the process of hard work. If you're picking up a new skill, let it naturally show through your progress. A photo of a dish you cooked, a candid shot of you learning photography, or a moment that shows your focus. It's not about perfection, it's about growth. The Stoics understood this principle well. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This isn't about trying to convince anyone of your worth. It's about living a life that reflects your values. Quiet confidence and authenticity resonate far deeper than loud declarations. Picture this. They're scrolling through their feed and stumble upon a photo of you hiking in the mountains, volunteering for a cause, or just sharing a small moment of gratitude. You don't need an elaborate caption filled with bravado. A simple reflection, grateful for the journey, or no caption at all will do more. Why? Because subtlety creates curiosity. It doesn't shout for attention. It invites someone to wonder. Curiosity is a powerful force. When you live authentically and share only glimpses of your growth, it makes others wonder about the person you're becoming. It shows them that you're not waiting for validation. You're on your own path, thriving. And here's the key. It's not about manipulating emotions or playing games. It's about truly living with purpose. Think of it like a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships. It stands tall, shining brightly, and the ships are naturally drawn to it. In the same way, when you focus on your growth, your confidence, and your inner peace, you become magnetic. They won't be able to help but notice, even if they don't say it aloud. Questions might arise. Does this mean I'm ignoring them? Won't this push them away? The answer is no. This isn't about distance. It's about showing that your life is rich and fulfilling, with or without them. You're not closing doors. You're simply focusing on becoming the best version of yourself. The Stoics believed that inner peace and self-respect are the highest priorities. You're not striving to be noticed out of desperation. Instead, your growth becomes a reflection of your character, your discipline, and your ability to face life's challenges with grace. And when someone sees that, it's unforgettable. Now, imagine yourself 6 months from now. You've stayed consistent in your growth, taking small but meaningful steps toward your goals. You've built habits that strengthen your body, mind, and spirit. And without trying, you've left a lasting impression, not because you begged to be noticed, but because you lived a life worth noticing. So the question isn't how to stay on their mind. The question is, how can you become the person who naturally leaves an impact? How can you live so authentically, so purposefully, that your presence is felt even in your absence? When you focus on becoming someone you're proud of, you don't just stay in their thoughts, you become unforgettable.